All right, let's get into the number 17 spot. Number 17 is the Gershon Dungeon, which is literally located about 5 minutes walking distance from my house. It's in Tustin. So yeah, I've gone here for 2 years now. I didn't even know it was a thing until last year when I was looking up haunts just around me, and it was like this thing was only like a couple, like not even a mile away. And sure enough, I walk there, and yeah, there's this big old like display, and like you can obviously tell it's like a walk-through maze in this person's front yard. So I was like, oh, okay. So heck yeah, we're going here. So I first went here on Halloween night of 2019 when it was a walk-through maze. What caught my attention was there's this giant freaking animatronic dragon on top of the drawbridge that's handmade. So that was really cool. Like, they didn't buy this thing. Like, they made it. So that was really cool. And it was a very stretched out walkthrough, a maze. It was about like 6 minutes to get through, which was pretty good for a home haunt. But the thing is, like, it didn't really have a consistent theme. I mean, you expect it to be called the Gershon Dungeon. You said to be themed to, like, dungeons. But, I mean, there was, like, a room themed to it, which, I mean, I can't complain because it's it. There's a marsh-themed room, a castle-themed room, and, like, a massacre section. And I call it that because it's basically just a bunch of dudes with chainsaws. But overall, I mean, it was still pretty cool. I loved walking through it. They had some really decent effects. I think it was fun. The beginning, the little pre-show, there was like this little elevator scene. Like, that was pretty cool. Like, we all got in this fake elevator, and it felt like an elevator. And I was like, wow, this is inventive. It's really cool. Plus, the prosthetic and makeup works on some of the scare actors were really fun. And we had a lot of fun with this like snooty ghost scare actor in the beginning, and he was a lot of fun to talk to. So yeah. Last year was pretty good, but then this year, in 2020, the maze was converted into a interactive yard display with scare actors roaming the streets. And sometimes I've been bouncing back and forth, but some days I like the maze better, but now I'm thinking like maybe I kind of like the yard display better, because the yard display had a very more consistent theme with like a dungeon, but the scare actors had a lot more freedom to scare people. And it was really cool. The effects they had felt a lot more professional this year. And the highlight was when I was going with my friends, and my boy Nathan was like doing this weird thing, pretending us this dude with a chainsaw. And this guy stuck the chainsaw right between his legs and was like threatening to chainsaw at his crotch. So that was neat.
What a champ! What a champ! What a champ! What an actual man!
All right, we're here at the last haunt for this episode. It's good to end on a bit of a high note for this episode. We're going to end with number 16. Number 16 is Hull House, located in Buena Park. And this was its last year in SoCal. I believe it's moving. Well, I know it is moving. I just don't know where it's moving. But I'm so glad I got to experience it before it left, because this thing is just super freaking cool to look at. I mean, look at this thing. It's just super beautiful, but also it has something unnerving about it, which most haunts should. Like, when you look at it, it's like, wow, that looks super cool, but I know something bad is going to happen if I go in there. But obviously, this wasn't a walk-through maze. This was another interactive yard display. Just had a super cool aesthetic and just really shiny look to it, like, which sounds weird because like the house is supposed to be burning. But it just looked super cool. The colors were awesome. The fog effects were like top notch. It was just super cool to have that like layer fog over this fake cemetery. There was tombstones with famous names in horror as on them, like Toby Hooper, Gunnar Hansen, Wes Craven. So that was a nice like paying respect section there. The facade, just a big facade, like the burning house with all the jack-o'-lanterns on it, that itself is just super cool to look at. Like, I was fine with it, because they said, the owners of this place said that they usually do a walk-through maze, but they converted it to a yard display actually last year, because it was simpler to do. But even then, it's just super cool to look at this yard display. So, I don't mind that it's not a maze, because it's super cool. And plus, there were two scare actors that were interacting with people. I got a nice picture with them. They had thunder jugs, they were sliding, they even had this like fake head that they would give to people. So that was kind of cool. So yeah, overall, Whole House was a super fun and just super cool experience, and I'm sad it's leaving, but, I'm glad I got to experience it before it left, because this was a very solid, super great home haunt. So, all right, that's going to do it for this first episode of this mini-series. I hope you guys enjoy it, and we'll start back with the next episode with number 15. All right, peace out.